Hey, it's Arlette and Mike Talks. This is Arlette Yusuf.
And I'm Michael Marcel. Thank you for
Welcome to our
joining us.
show. So today we are actually going to be talking about religion versus
My
spirituality.
favorite. My favorite. Oh my god, I love that
um,
so much.
and what it actually means, to be spiritual or to be religious. There's a lot of people that are kind of teeter-tottering, kind of both, leaning more towards one versus the other.
Some
Depending
people
on what
don't
day it
understand.
is, they will be one or the other.
Depending on the day it is. There's there's also the confusion of being one or the other.
Yeah.
People
And by the
and
way, Mike, thanks for having a A in the background. I really appreciate you doing that for me.
you're welcome. A for Arlette. Now you have to put an M in your background for me.
I will.
If you guys
I
didn't
will.
know, we're broadcasting live via video. You can go to our YouTube channel and watch us, as well as listen. And that's
Yes.
YouTube, youtube.com/Arlette and Mike Talk. And we're there. We're being fun. Um, Also, with spirituality and religion, there are some things that have become more of a delusion and concepts and beliefs, and it has sprung up some confusion. It's confusing. It can be, but it's not. It's
Yeah.
very simple,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what we're here to talk about. That's what we're here to talk about.
So,
So,
Mike,
yes,
sure.
yes. So let's start by kind of breaking down what it is, what religion actually is, and it's an institution established by man for various reasons, and a good proportion of those reasons weren't for the benefit. They weren't benevolent. They were malevolent. I like those words, benevolence and benevolence. Um, but it's organized. It's structured in a way where either there is the worship of a singular individual or being or substance or idol or whatever you may call it or have it. Um, and spirituality uh, is uh, is something that is born within a person, and it may be kickstarted by religion, or it may be kickstarted by revelation. It extends to facets of all people, all walks of life, our experiences, and um, and how do we know when we have fallen under one or the other? Like I don't know, Arlette. Have you met those? I guess because I relate to Christianity. Have you ever met those Christians that call themselves Christians, call themselves religious, and they don't believe in the book or the book completely? Like they take bits and pieces of the book and live their lives based on that. Have you ever met any? Because you're Christian. Are you? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And actually, I mean, I'm Catholic, and I'm not 100% by the rules, because I'm very, I meditate and I pray. Some would say it's the same thing. I
They are.
do it
They are the same thing.
together. I do it separately. Some things out of the book, I fully, entirely, I truly believe it. Um, some things are still very difficult for me. Some things I have my own belief system. One thing of the book that I would say, and I think, Mike, for some reason, I think I'm remembering a conversation you and I had a long time ago. Um, Love is above all the number one rule. You know what I mean? Love covers all sin. Love covers everything. So with me being spiritual as far as, meditating and tuning into myself, but also being Catholic, quote unquote, because most Catholics would say I'm not a true Catholic because of this, but to to be in between, I would say, you know, that I truly, truly believe that love does cover all sin. Love does cover everything. It really does.
It does.
I really do believe that.
Love, what is it? The love covers a multitude of sin, or however it's. So, but oh, that's. I'm sorry, it slipped me. But that is also that's also another facet of what religion is. Religion is based on a structure of laws governed by either a role. What is, oh my gosh, a role? A book usually, or a stone, or any. It's based on it's a set structure of rules that are meant to be followed. Where there are certain prayers, certain incantations being Wiccans, because that is a religion. If you didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically that structure of things. You, someone who claims Catholicism, but also
I am.
I'm not. Listen, I'm saying what you doing, all right? You're claiming it.
I
But
am.
but I mean, according to what is, you would be spiritual. You'd be a spiritualist. Now, within religion is spiritual, and spirituality can exist in religion. However,
Yeah.
the fact that you take and you choose, and you're not completely bound by it.
I'll
I
tell
thought it was
you. I'll
spiritual.
tell you right now. I'll tell you where I pick and choose because,
Okay.
and I've mentioned this before in other segments. I have a huge problem with people categorizing sex and murdering someone on the same level, saying that they are both mortal sins. They are sins of the flesh. I understand that, when I read it. I understand that when I go to church. I get it, but to me, they are still not on the same level. They will never be on the same level because, of course, there's nothing loving about rape. That's awful, completely awful. But in a situation when two people want to participate in this act, it's a sign of love. It's a sign
Right.
of love, and to say that showing that affection is just as bad as murdering someone, that will never sit well with me. It never has. It never will. And
So
on that note, Mike, it also talks about lust. You're not supposed to lust after someone. To look at someone and think, wow, she's beautiful. Wow, he's so handsome. You know what I mean? That's a sin too, according to the book. And so those are the few things where yes, I am nitpicky about, and ultimately that's something I have to take up with God and He has to take up with me. That's my spiritual deal with God.
okay. So
Right?
all right. Okay. So I mean, not really. I guess sticking with you, but people, because a lot of people have I guess those sentiments about whatever religion it is that they follow. Um, and I mean the thing about that is if I'm not following the structure that has been presented to me, and I'm doing this, that, and the other, or I'm pulling beliefs from other areas or from other types of religious beliefs, then am I really being religious, or am I being spiritual? Like let's for a moment look at some of the, I guess let's compare. I don't like comparing, but we're going to compare here. Don't judge me, okay? Or judge me. It's whatever you want. Um, Now, there's not one religion, but hundreds, right? And there's only one, huh? Right, there are hundreds, probably more than uh, hundreds. Um,
More than we know.
yeah, but there's only one type of spirituality, right? Right? It's just an elemental thing about us. Religion is for those who want to continue rituals and the formalities of religion. Spirituality is for those who want to reach the spiritual ascent without dogmas.
Rewind
Religion.
for 2 seconds.
Yes.
You said something. You said spirituality is all one thing, and you said religion is several. But spirituality,
Well,
actually, there are people that call it spirituality when they're actually praising the devil. So it is a form of religion within spirituality. It is.
well then,
There's
well then, what,
people,
no,
there's
what
people
that's
that look to the devil or Satan or whatever you want to call him to have, to reach their goals, to
right.
have
Their
results, to
religions.
have
Right.
money.
Their
You
religions.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's the religion part of it, yes, but there's also that spirituality about it too.
Right, but there are religion. Right. There's okay. So there's one level. There's one level of spirituality, right? And it's essentially our beingness and our connectedness to all things, right? And then there are the religions that come out of this overall essence of what we are, and there are those who believe that they're worshiping Satan or the devil, um, and they work up different, I guess, spells and create just different alchemic, I guess, geometric shapes to channel and bring in certain malevolent forces or lower level entities to help them get what they want. However, it doesn't break from that oneness of spirituality. What it does is it creates another branch of a religious following.
It's what you want to connect to. It's what you want to tune into. I
Well,
think
I mean, if you're follow, okay, so if you're following, so like there's the book of Satan, right? There's the anti-Bible that exists where people do these things, right? And then there's, you have the Wiccans who have their books of witchcraft, black magic, uh, white magic.
white magic.
Right, and all of this, they're religious practices, they're religious thoughts. But with spirituality, that comes into it is, I guess, the intent that comes with the spells that are chanted, or that comes with uh, what is put into uh, conjuring or bringing forth a lower level entity. Um, someone, there was I was having a conversation earlier with a friend, and they discussed this very famous atheist who recently passed away. His last name is Hitchens, and he wrote a book uh, discussing or talking about how we all have these experiences, these supernatural things that we don't really know yet how to explain or to prove, and that through that we have we tend to bring it towards, like, okay, because I levitated. It was the Lord God of the Jews, of the Hebrews, who did it, or it was Beelzebub who came and picked me up from the sky, or picked me up from the earth and caused me to fly. Or if we see bright light, like an orb of light, like right next to me, right? Maybe there's one like right here behind me. Like that someone who's Christian will be like, okay, that's an angel. That's my angel. God sent me an angel to watch
I was
over
just
me.
gonna
Or
say that.
right, right. Now we don't know. We don't truly know. We only go on what we feel based on what has been impressed on us, whether that's through our parents or through a religious faction. But we were making decisions based on how we were brought up, um, or what we choose to believe. And it's not, it's nonsense. It's not. It could be nonsense.
Overall, I really believe that good begets good and bad begets bad. It really is that you get what you give. Um, and it's on you whether you put out something good or whether you put out something bad. Now, I'm not going to say uh, bad things don't happen to good people and vice versa. Of course it does. And of course good things happen to bad people. Um, there's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of serendipity. There's a lot of, some people call it dumb luck. I don't necessarily believe in luck. I think things are supposed to happen as they unfold, as they happen. Um, it's just deeper than we all know is the thing. And when you are spiritual, uh, you make that choice for yourself. And for me, when I do meditate, full blown meditation, I still involve God in all my meditation. When I'm at church, and when I'm praying, it's still a spiritual connection for me. So to me, they are intertwined. Uh, they've just always been, and
Well,
that's who I am.
well, I mean, going back to what was spoken earlier. Religion is spiritual, and it can be spiritual. Thus there is spirituality in religion. However, to claim a religion or to be part of a religion, one must follow this ordinate these rules. These they have to follow this structure. Otherwise, uh, they're breaking from being religious to being spiritual.
Yes, Mike.
Yes.
What were you what were you brought up to be, and are you still the same? Do you still have the same beliefs, or have you evolved? And what?
Okay. So I was brought up Christian. One could call one may call my mother and father at a point in time to have been um, fanatical Christians. But I mean, you get that often with like churches of Pentecost and apostolic type worships. Worships. Um, but it's brought up that believing the Bible, having the Bible handed to me or it started out being force fed, and then at a point I started to investigate on my own. I started reading the Bible. I completely read the Bible. It literally took me 4 years. I know it's stupid. 4 years to read the book from cover to cover, but it only took that long because I would go back and read certain passages. Like I love the gospel. I love reading the gospels. I love reading about what is supposed to happen in the future. In the books of Revelations and Thessalonians and Isaiah. Um, that's what I was raised on. And as I walked my walk, I deviated. I deviated because I saw that being religious and following this set of rules is detrimental to the entirety of existence, or our existence um, as a whole race, which is human. And and so now, I guess you could call me You can call me a mystic. Yeah, and within mysticism, mysticism is simply learning the laws that govern everything in existence, understanding those laws, and applying those laws to everyday life to help others, the planet including, or other places in the universe to prosper and reach higher levels of being, higher levels of consciousness, higher levels of, or basically to transcend or ascension. And that's where I'm at. That's where
Do
I'm
you
at now.
believe in anything religious wise at all? I mean, do you still read the
Well,
Bible? Do you ever attend church?
no, 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 I don't. I don't read. I don't. I haven't read the Bible. I haven't read the Bible in some time. The only times I attend a service is in the event that I join my family, because they are religious by the book, or at least a couple of them are religious. Um, but no, like the stories. So there are things in these stories that are true because they have been proven. And it's funny because
Yeah.
even in the Bible, like I know like it's supposed to be faith based. Like faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. However, way back in the day, there were many accounts where it needed to be proven of this God, uh, and we don't see that these days, or at least when things and we chalk up to that, but it's other things. It's like the laws that govern us type things. Um, like for instance, like I don't know about Noah's Ark. I don't know about that. I don't know about Moses. I mean, there are elements that exist that tie to a Moses-like character, but not as the Bible depicts Moses. Um, King Solomon, he actually existed. He was a dude. I mean, there are temples that were built for him. There are actual what remnants of where he once dwelt. King David. You know, there are these elements of the stories that exist. Jesus or Yeshua, the existence of him, he actually existed. However, the tale is a little different,
So
according, or at least
you don't believe that Jesus is who the Bible says he is, and you don't believe that Moses split the Red Sea or did any of those things. You don't believe that Noah actually had an ark with all of those animals. You don't believe any of that.
no, not at least not entirely. For Noah, the
I
story.
disagree with you.
Well, Noah, the story does like if, for instance, I mean, there's a wonderful debate. Everyone, I suggest you check it out through Bill Nye debates with fella. What's his name? It's something Kent. He's a he's a
Clark Kent.
no, not Clark Kent. But he has the Bible Museum.
He gonna rip his suit off and have a S on his clothing.
Maybe. But I mean, it just doesn't make sense scientifically for there to be one of every animal in existence, or at least that which existed at that time. And according to the Bible, the Earth has only been around for 6,000 years. Um, Around that time, for every animal to have gone on this massive ship and had enough food and water to sustain all thousands of animals that were on that ship, and then the fact that just go watch the debate because
All
I'm
right.
butchering everything.
So
I'm butchering everything. For
so
Jesus,
so you don't believe. I don't remember exactly how many, but I think it was something like 2 loaves of bread and like 7 fish, or vice versa. I don't remember the exact numbers. You don't believe that they fed thousands of people with just a few loaves of bread and a couple of fish. You don't believe that?
well, I I don't know. I can't give
That
you an answer.
that right
I don't
there,
know
see,
because
that's
you have to
where
like you have to take into account like how many stories have you heard that have been made grander than what they actually were.
you're right.
Because
But
I know several. I know several.
person, being a spiritual person, and you to personally know the power that your mind has, that your spirit has, that your heart has, to know that you can create things by your mind and by your spirit and by your heart, for you to say that you don't believe any of these things, to me that's a little
I
risky,
I I I
because
just don't.
because
I don't
that's
know.
why for me they do go hand in hand. Spirituality and meditation and tuning in and being being one with the world. Hold on.
Spirituality and reality and
All of that and asking and receiving and making things happen, or knowing when things are going to happen, things like that, tuning into yourself, to me that all has to do with a lot of religion, because the Bible
but
talks
it's
about it
not.
as
But it's not.
the
And
Bible
that is
talks
the
about it
confusion.
as no
That's the
the Bible
confusion,
talks
Arlette,
about
because
the Bible.
these are laws. Okay, these are laws that have existed long before the Bible was incepted, and that's the
Right.
thing. These right. So believe what vision. I mean, believing something is going to happen, or manifesting, as a better word, manifesting something that you want, like speak it as though it was. I mean, that's an it's a law. There's more
Let me tell you
to
something.
just doing that.
Let me tell you something. We've
But
3 minutes left, so I just want to make sure I say this.
well,
If the
we have three
Bible,
minutes left on the live broadcast. We have 3 minutes left on the live broadcast. We're going to keep going on the Google Hangouts. If
so
like I
you can
said, if
keep
you want
watching
to
us
tune
on
in,
YouTube.
yeah, go to our Let Mike Talk on YouTube, and we're going to continue to talk.
Yes.
Keep talk.
But before our on-air listeners have to go,
All right.
if
Yes.
the Bible was not tied to religion, and if the Bible was not known to be something, that was for mainly Christians, I know that you would have a different view about it, because there's plenty of spiritual books out there that I'm sure you're very interested in. And this to me is just another one of them. This to me
Well,
is
don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Like the Bible. The Bible is a very spiritual book, and I
Yes,
what I say to people is that the Bible is for beginners. The Bible is for people who are wanting to be spiritual. It's like a beginner's guide, really. Essentially, it's what it is. Because a lot of it is packed full of altered stories. Jesus Christ became a man when he was 12. That's Jewish tradition. He became a man when he was 12. He didn't stay in Egypt where he was raised up until 12. He went overseas. He went other places. But they don't talk about that. We don't talk about that. Like
right.
like they're like Mosa. There's a fellow by the name of Mosa, like who's very closely connected to the story of Moses. And what Musa, I mean, there was no battle. Like Pharaoh was like, hey, you want to set up your commune of your own? Go ahead and do it. And he did it. There was no conflict. I'm just that one book, as with like many others, um, has some flaws in the tale. Or maybe my books have flaws in the tale. They are all connected. I agree. They are all connected. But I will reserve the right to be spiritual, um, without completely signing to one form of religion, one thought process. Um, for all of you listening on Blog Talk, we want to thank you for tuning in. Like I said, if you want to join us, come on to the YouTube station. We're going to keep going. Thank you for listening. Have a good night. And To be religious, to be religious, you are stuck following one principle, one book, or one idea, one way of being, one way of thinking. That's what it is to be religious. When you are spiritual, you see the truth. You see the truth that exists in these stories, and you take the truth, you apply it, but that is one source of truth, as opposed, and then you find other sources of truth, and you apply those, and you live your life based on that.
I still believe that it's connected, and if
I'm
I'm
not.
wrong, I
They
guess
are.
I will
They are.
find out.
They are
If
connected,
I'm
but
wrong,
religion. You find
go
out.
ahead, Mike.
You find no, but you'll find out, right?
Yes, if I'm wrong, I will find out. But I truly, truly feel that I'm right. At least for myself, I'm right. I can't tell you how to believe or what to believe or what to do. I can only live by what I feel in my heart is true, and that's what I'm doing. And while I'm doing that, I hope that I could encourage people or help people in any way, whether it's just some advice or whether I introduce them to meditation. I am certified in meditation. I want to further my
Are
studies in
you?
that. I want to eventually, I am. I want to
What form of
eventually,
meditation?
it was just a range of meditation. It wasn't focusing on one, but I do follow a lot of Deepak Chopra's methods. I just there's a lot of different things you can do. There's breathing meditation, standing meditation, sleeping meditation, walking meditation, laws of attraction. There's so many things. There's healing meditation. Oh gosh, I love healing meditation. Like I feel it when I'm doing it, and people might think I'm crazy for saying that, but I really do. And it's just it's very soothing for me. It has definitely eased my mind. My sister used to actually introduce me as, and this is Arlette, the thinker. That's what she would say, because my mind was always going at a million miles an hour. And meditation has really slowed that down for me. It's really calmed it down. It definitely took the edge off of so many things. You know, it's just helped me so many ways I can't even explain. So if I can help people with that, um, and still tie God into it, because to me they are connected, I'm happy to do it.
I'm
I'm
not. I'm
happy
not. But
to.
I'm not breaking. I'm not breaking the connection between God and spirituality because I mean the all. I call him. I call it the all, and we are all part of the all. We are not the all, but we are part of the
We are
all.
all one. We are all one.
Right. So I'm not disconnecting. I'm not arguing or clarifying um, that there is a separation between spirituality and an understanding of our connectedness uh, to God or the universe or the all, as I put it. Um, what I'm clarifying is the confusion between being what it is to be spiritual, um, or being a spiritualist, and being religious
Hmm.
and being religious. Because I'm sure, like I mean, you've mentioned already that there are things in the book that one who is a Catholic, a devout Catholic, must follow and must believe that you do not, which classifies you as being a spiritualist who believes in Catholicism.
You want to hear a true story?
Yes,
Okay. So, I was baptized, of course.
that's what's that.
First communion, of course. When you when you go to First Communion, most people know, you have to go to confession. And I did, but as a little girl, what was I confessing about? Calling someone stupid or saying someone was mean or thinking I hated my mom or like things that kids think. You know what I mean? Um, as an adult, over several years, actually a teenager to an adult, I'll say, I struggled a lot with confession because I've always had an issue with, why do I have to confess to you if if you know if I'm trying to get forgiveness from God? Why do I need to speak with you about it? And that's always been my feeling about confession, and as a result, I would hysterically cry during confession and after confession, whether it's the face-to-face confession or the partition confession, the blind confession, and it never felt good. It never felt right. It never felt like, okay, I got it all off my chest. I'm forgiven. It's a new start. I never felt that way. Uh, it was always hysterical, very deep, very hard for me. Um, and I find that when I just go pray directly to God, it feels so much better, and it feels cleansing and it feels real. Now, with Catholicism, most people might not know this. I didn't know this until recently, but uh, for you to take holy bread without confessing to your sins, um, basically you're just making it even worse. I don't know if it's listed as another sin altogether, but it's the way it was explained to me is that you're forcing something pure into an impure body. And to me, I'm just like, wait a minute. So I have to go spill my guts to this priest, and get all hysteric and crazy, and then go do some Hail Marys and Our Fathers, and I'm supposed to feel good about it?
Hmm.
No, like, and you're telling me if I don't do that, I can't take holy bread? I don't. To me, I just that doesn't work for me. My confession is to God. My confession is between myself and God. He was there when I committed whatever sin it was. He's there now to hear me repent. He's there now to hear me, go through it. He's seen what it's molded me into. He's seen what it's changed in my life, whether it's good or bad. Um, you know what I mean? So confessing to a priest and not being able to take holy bread and all that, if you follow it to the T, I'm very hard for me. Always been, always been, and that's what makes you know just being directly, speaking directly with God so much better and so much for me and so much easier, and it makes meditation so much more for me as well. And I think there's no one religion for people. I think there is God, and everyone should believe that. And I know there's atheists. I know there's like you were saying, people that Wiccans that they do witchcraft, and then there's also the people that believe in Satan and all that. To each their own. Personally, I feel like whatever religion it is, you still need to believe in God. And you could say I'm wrong for it, but that's what I truly, truly believe. I don't think anyone should be forced to spill their guts to someone, because you're not supposed to feel judged or anything when you're telling the priest whatever you've done. And it could be something as small as, you know, somebody dropped $1 and I didn't tell them and I picked it up for myself. Or it could be something very serious, in extreme cases, maybe somebody murdered someone, God forbid. But um, to spill your guts to someone, I don't see it. Now, I understand if you want to talk to someone and just get something off of your chest, because talking to people does help a lot. It does help to finally let something go, and if I confided in you, Mike, and I just started bawling to you, and it just felt so good to let it out. That's my choice to confide in you, because it's you, because there's a friendship.
Here's
You know what I mean?
here's a
But
secret.
there's
Here's a
huh?
secret. Here's a secret you probably didn't know. Here's a secret you probably didn't know.
What?
Confession is not in the Bible. Confession to a man is not in the Bible.
I've never seen it in there.
Right. So it wasn't a religious thing that was created through that. It was, well, actually, I guess it
It
was
is
later
a
man.
religious thing. If
Well,
it's
it is a religious
Catholic,
thing for Catholicism. For
yes.
Catholicism, yes, it's a religious thing, and it was. When did that even actually begin? When did it begin? When did it begin?
Is this what Mike looks like when he's researching?
Yes.
Wow. Put
Yeah,
your eyes back in their sockets.
this is my face. It began in 1555. The Council of Trent, in its doctrine of the sacrament of penance, stated that Peter, Prince of the Apostles, recommended penance to sinners who were about to receive baptism with the words, "Repent and be baptized, every one of you, for the remission of your sins," and blah, 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 blah. Okay, so, I mean, translations are perceptions of that one scripture that
Yes.
caused them to believe that men ought to.
And it's all a rumor.
I mean, it's all about interpretation and
Yes.
how these individuals chose to interpret that one piece of
And it's a
information.
rumor because
Is
if
it a
you
rumor?
tell me, Mike, yes,
Is
if
it
you
a
tell me,
rumor?
Mike, listen, if you tell me that you went to the movies and you found a $50 bill on the floor, you tell me that. And then I tell the next person, hey, guess what? Mike went to the movies, he found 75 bucks on the floor. And then they go tell the next person, Mike found $5 on the floor. And then you weren't even at the movies after all. You were at Six Flags. You know what I mean? Like the story changes
But,
from one person to the next.
right. Did you also know? Did you know? Did you know
Too
that?
much. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you know that the Gospels weren't written until about 30 to 100 years after the passing of the Christ?
I've
So
heard that.
like that bird, like the tale of the $50, you also have misconstrued tales of the one you call the Christ, who
Yeah.
was one
And
of many
also,
Christs, by the way, who was one of many Christs.
mm,
Yes, because Christ, or Christella is actually it's a very old term. It's a very old term, and it's a state of being. It's a state of being. It's not necessarily meant to describe. It's not singular. It's a state of being. There's something called Christ consciousness. Look it up. Um, yeah. So now that that is clarified on what spirituality and what religion is, the difference, how spirituality exists in both, but one is very, very structured. The other, and there's structure to it, but not based on one principal idea and one singular entity or multiple entities meant for worship. That is that.
you made me forget what I was going to say.
I didn't make you forget, you just forgot.
No, I did. I'm still forgetful after what happened a few weeks ago, unfortunately. But
You want to
um,
talk about
no, you
it?
know
Okay.
about
I
it.
know about I know about it, but
All
they don't know.
right.
But they don't know about it. She don't know about it, like I know about it.
I am recovering from a concussion. I'm
Mhm.
still extremely forgetful in conversation. So I was going to say something, but Mike kept talking, and so I forgot what I was going to say. I
I
really
hate it.
don't know what I was going to say.
I hate it when that happens. Effing
Yeah.
concussions. F concussions. Okay. F
Yeah.
them.
My first one, and I hope my last ever. Um, yeah. but I
Yeah.
wish I knew what I was gonna say. It was gonna be cool. I know that. I
Oh
just,
man,
I just don't know what it was.
always going on, Michael Marcel. Jeez, just learn to shut up sometimes.
Uh, I don't know. Keep talking and I'll think about
Keep talking. So,
it.
what can we talk about? I clarified. Let's go through some things and stuff. Let's go
Some
through some
things.
things and stuff before I was really interrupted going over those things and stuff. What's going on here? All right. Religion is cause for division. Spirituality is cause for union. I think I'm just bashing. Well, religion speaks you so that seeks you so that you create. Spirituality causes you to seek. Religion continues the teachings of a sacred book, which I already said. Spirituality seeks the sacredness in all the books. I said that. Something like that. Religion is fed fear. Spirituality is fed confidence. Religion lives in your thoughts. Spirituality lives in your conscience. Religion is in charge of the to do. Spirituality is in charge of the to be. Religion is a dialect. Spirituality is in logic. All right, I think we've
So
exhausted this.
I didn't remember what it was, but something else came to mind. um, we told you a little bit about how we met. You know, we were in a play together. Pretty interesting thing that happened. Mike, let me know if you remember this. I had a headache. I don't remember, we were either at rehearsal or we were about to go on stage to perform. And I had a severe, severe headache. And I didn't have anything to help it. I was trying to drink water to make it, simmer down, but nothing was helping. So Mike heard me say that I had a headache, and I was still very, I guess you could say I wasn't awake yet. I was unaware. I didn't, the whole spirituality thing was still like, what? That's just weird. You know what I mean? I wasn't as in tune as I am now. I wasn't as knowledgeable, none of it. I didn't meditate then, nothing. So he he hears that I have a headache and he comes over to me. He says, "You have a headache?" And I said, "Yeah." And he puts his hands, on my head, and then he puts them on my temple. He lightly, just goes like this, and then he just goes like this, and he's standing there and he has his eyes closed, and I'm over here like, what is this black job doing? Like, why are you touching me, first of all? Why are you touching my head? And what are you doing?
She's a
And
germaphobe.
yes, I am a germaphobe, but but in that play we were all over the floor. I had to be on the floor a million times in that play. But anyway, back to the point. Don't make me forget. Um, I'm sitting here like, what is this guy doing? And actually, believe it or not, my headache went from like a 10 to a 5. It definitely, it didn't go away fully, but it diminished quite a bit. I was just like, what does this guy do? Who is he? Is this like some kind of voodoo trick? Like, what's going on? But it's very simple. He was already awake. He was already in tune with his spirituality. I don't know on what level, but
Very low
he
level.
knew, right? But he knew enough to know that you can transfer energy between people. You can transfer energy between objects.
It's manipulative.
You can transfer energy in the air. You can transfer energy through just about anything. And he had known enough of that already to know that he could help me. I didn't have Tylenol. I didn't have whatever people would normally take for a headache. I couldn't go sleep it off. We were about to work. So he did that, and I thought it was just crazy, but it worked. And I just thought it was the coolest thing at the time. And now looking back, it still is pretty interesting. but I just thought I
Pretty
would share
cool.
that with you guys.
It's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, what do you want to talk about next week, Arlette?
Next week, actually, I want to talk about child support laws on the federal level, and I want to talk about child custody laws on the federal level. The system is set up for deadbeat dads. It's set up for people that don't want to provide for their children and don't want to be involved in their lives. But the truth of it is that there
Find
are,
out next week.
hold on, hold on.
You and
There
Dave
are,
just the bills.
hold
So
on.
means.
There are a lot of people, it's not the same. There are a lot of people that want to be involved, and there's there's so many reasons that it's wrong. And so I started a petition to hopefully get this changed, and we're going to tell you more about it next week. I'm going to go into more detail as to why this is important. I'm going to give you some scenarios. Um, there are a lot of people out there that this is really affecting, and it's ruling their lives. And I'm not going to just say fathers, because there are some certain cases, where the father has custody and the mother doesn't, and that
What?
she's having the hard time. So what, Mike? What?
You're going in on it. That's
What?
next
That's
week's
no,
topic.
no, no.
Yeah,
That's
that's next
not
week's
even.
topic. You're going in
I'm
on it.
no. That's not even. I barely stuck a toe in. That's nothing.
Oh, you do?
There's so
Okay.
much left. There's
Okay.
so much left.
All
But
right.
we'll save it. We will save it. Just be here next week with us, because it's very important. It's very real. It's affecting many lives.
It's a
So
very
we can
serious matter.
definitely change it. We can absolutely change it.
Yes, we can. And we will.
Yep.
All right. Well, that
Mike.
we're gonna go to bed now.
It's only 9 o'clock. What's wrong with
Kidding.
you?
Kidding. I don't know. I don't have a bedtime. Yeah. I don't live with my parents.
hmm
Or do I?
Now I
Do
know what
I?
the A is for.
For what?
Alvin and the Chipmunks. You took your Alvin and the Chipmunks poster down, but you didn't take the A down.
Alvin is a reputable and very contributive member of society,
I like
and
Theodore.
that's that. All right. He's a smart one.
He is the, well,
Simon is the smart one.
Simon is a smart one.
Theodore is the
Theodore's
pudgy
a
one
cute
who's
one.
not so smart. He's cute because he's
He's a cute
pudgy.
one.
He's stupid.
Yeah.
He's dumb. All right. Well then, Miss Arlette, and everyone who watches this, thank you for watching. Continue to tune in to Arlette
And Mike.
Talk.
Yeah.
Took you long enough.
Told you I'm forgetful.
Damn concussions.
Gosh,
Damn
those darn
concussions.
things.
All
No,
right.
we love you for watching. Honestly, we do appreciate all of you for being here. We will see you next week for sure. It's going to be a great show, as always. Get on with
Don't. Good night. Good morning. Good afternoon.
it.
Thanks. This is awkward.